Hello all, good morning. This is Dr. S. Subbalakshmi, Assistant Professor in the Department of Mathematics, SNS College of Technology. This is a lecture video series on the course Probability and Statistics, and now we are on to the topic Probability and Random Variables. First of all, we'll introduce what is probability. Probability refers to the study of randomness and uncertainties. What do you mean by randomness? Randomness means the choice we make here. The choice may or may not be chosen is said to be randomness. A random choice is made in the particular experiment done. That is called as randomness. And what do you mean by uncertainties? Uncertainties are nothing but the happenings or non-happenings, or it may happen or it may not happen. Those particular things are comes under uncertainties. So what do you mean by probability? Probability refers to the study of randomness and uncertainties. Next we are moving on to the next subheading, which is trial and event. What is a trial and what is an event? The actual technical definition for trial and event is given here. We are just going to performing an experiment is a trial, which means the trial process is just a performance of the experiment. And what is an event? The outcome of an experiment is an event. The outcome of an experiment is an event. This is the actual technical definition for trial and event. Now, we will have an example for trial and event. What is a trial? From a pack of cards, drawing any two cards is a trial. So, from a pack of cards, we will be having 52 cards, drawing any two cards. Any two cards if you are drawing, then it is said to be a trial. But if we are getting a queen or a king, which are said to be events. The happenings or the resultant of the trial is called as an event. This is what a trial and event is. Now, we will have the terms related to probability. What are the terms related to probability? The first term, which is a very important term, is experiment. Second one is outcome. Third one is sample space. Fourth is trial, and fifth one is event. So, firstly, we are going to see what is an experiment. We'll read the definition once. An experiment is a process which, though repeated under essentially identical conditions, does not give unique results, but may result in any one of the several possible outcomes here. What is an experiment? It is a process. It is repeated under identical conditions, and in the result will not be unique. Will not be unique in all possible ways if it is performed. So that particular thing is called as an experiment. So what you will have, the results will not be unique. It does not give any unique results. So those type of trials or their processes are called as experiments. Now we will have the definition for outcome. What is an outcome? The outcome is a result of an experiment. So what is an experiment? We have seen it in the prior definition. What is the result? The result of an experiment is called as an outcome. So now moving on to the third definition, which is a sample space. What is a sample space? It is a collection of all possible outcomes. What is a sample space? It is a collection of all possible outcomes given in the experiment here. And as discussed earlier, a trial is just performing an experiment, and an event is the outcome of an experiment. Moving on to the types of events. What are the types of events? What are the types of events? We have 5 major types of events as we are going to discuss here. The first one is exhaustive event. Second one is mutually exclusive events. First we will have the definitions for these two and an explanation for these two things, and we will move on to the other 3 definitions. Exhaustive events. The total number of possible outcomes in any trial is known as exhaustive events. So the things or the events represented in the sample space, which is called as the total events. All the possible outcomes are represented in a curly braces, which is represented as a set. Those particular representation is called as an exhaustive events. Exhaustive events means we cannot perform or we cannot expect a result rather than those exhaustive events. The second one is mutually exclusive events. The definition goes like, 2 events are said to be mutually exclusive when the occurrence of one event affects the occurrence of other event. When the occurrence of one event affects the occurrence of other events. On tossing a coin, we will be having the possible outcomes as head or tail. The possible outcomes of tossing a coin is head or tail. But if head is drawn or head is got, the occurrence of tail is restricted. If tail is got, the occurrence of head is restricted. Therefore, head and tail are called mutually exclusive events. So, exhaustive events are the total number of possible outcomes in any trial is called exhaustive, and mutually exclusive events means we have to compare two or more events here. Comparison arises in the mutually exclusive case. Therefore, when the occurrence of one event affects the occurrence of other event, we will say those events as mutually exclusive events. Next one is equally likely events. Two events are said to be equally likely if one of them can't be expected in preference to the other, which means if we are expecting to get head and we are receiving tail, we say that they are equally likely because head and tail in tossing a coin is an equally likely event because both of them can occur in a basic proportionate way, equal proportionate way. Therefore, they are mentioned as equally likely events. Next one is independent events. Whenever there is no interlink between the two happenings of the event, then we can say that it is independent. Actual independency means here two events are said to be independent when the actual happening of one event does not influence in any way or the other to the other event. Therefore, we can say those as independent events. And final one is a favorable event. Getting a number 4 when throwing a die is called as a favorable event, or else whatever given in the question we will name it as a favorable event. So whatever events are favoring to us, we will name it as a favorable event. These are the types of events. First one is exhaustive events, second one is mutually exclusive events, third one is equally likely events, fourth one is independent events, and fifth one is favorable events. So I will continue the problems of this probability and statistics in the next class. Thank you.